Hey YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Expanding Cake PHP 5.3. So just to give you a quick recap and introduction to what today's video is about, let's take a quick look around. So in the database we have got the tables users, and we have created the isActive and the activation token and the activation token expiry fields. And the idea is that when we register a new user, an activation token is sent to their email address with the expiry time, date time, and then they click the link and then they can activate their account. All very good. So what we need to do today is create a way that we can block people from logging in without activating their account. So episode 1, we kind of built the framework into it. In episode 2, we created the resending of the activation token. And in this episode, what we're going to be doing is providing a link to send a reactivation and blocking the users from being able to log in. So if I was to log in as CakePHP, I can log in because he is active. So we've got this line here, is active. If I was to log in as CakePHP1, because she isn't active, or even CakePHP3, right, we should be forced to have another activation email sent to us. So if we try logging in as CakePHP1, it would help if I type in 1 and then logged in, you can see that I can still log in, and yet CakePHP1, and yet when we go to our users, we're not active. So in today's episode, we're going to be focusing on that and giving the user an option to have another email resent to their email address. So let's dive in to some code. Okay, so in our code, we have got our login method. And I'm just going to zoom in a bit to make it easier for you guys to read this, especially if you are on a mobile device. So at the moment, what we're doing is we're skipping authorization. And that is cool because we need to. And the authentication is already skipped. We don't need to do anything there. So we allow access to the login, the add login user activation, and more importantly, for this episode, the request new activation email. But in this is what Cake gives us. And as you can see, there is no logic to check that when the user logs in or submits the details, that is active filter is being used. So what we need to do is build that out. So what I'm going to do is in this result is valid. So we need to make sure that the email address, or the username, email address in our case, exists in the database. So we can't do anything before here, right? So I'm just going to do this, and then I'm just going to get the auth user's identity and check if they are active or not. Okay. So I hate autocomplete for this. Anyway. Ooh. Right. So I'm going to do auth user equals, and the autocomplete is basically hitting it on the head. We want this. Oh, fine. This request get attribute, and we want the identity of the request. Okay, so I'll just go through this now. So in here we've got we've got the authentication system checking our email address, and within that result is going to put the username into the identity. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to assign that identity from we're going to request the attribute identity, and then we're going to go, if the auth user is not active, right, we're going to log them out. Okay, straight away we log the user out. We're not interested. Okay, and then what we're going to do is give them an error message to explain what to do. Okay, so in here, your account is not active, please check your emails for the activation link or request a new one. Okay, and then we're going to redirect to the request new activation email. Okay, so it's pretty simple. All it is just a little bit of logic here, right? That's just going, if you're not active, we're going to log you out, and then once we've logged you out, we're going to force you to either check the emails, or you can request a new email. So let's just say that you've tried to activate and it's expired, and you've forgotten, or you forgot to check your emails, or even if you've created a ghost account, in other words, you've mistyped an email address or something, then yeah, okay, a bit later on we can change this to or contact support, which way around you want to go, but for today this is kind of where we're going to leave it. And then in our request new activation, I believe I just need to make sure request new activation email. So we do have a view for it because we need to obviously, yep, right. So I'm just going to make sure that that is request new activation email. Yep, it was smart enough to know that. So I'm just going to save this form and let's test it out. So at the moment, we're still logged in as CakePHP1. So I'm just going to log out. And I'm just going to make sure that our logic works. We know that CakePHP is active, so we can log in. And if I click on users, so CakePHP is already active. CakePHP1, however, is not. So let's just log out and then put in CakePHP1 and then click login. And what we should get is exactly what's happened. Your account is not active. Please check your emails for activation link or request a new one. And you can see here that it's asking us for an email address. Okay, so request new validation email or go back to login, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start MailHog. And it was CakePHP1, so cake, let's do that, but number 1, and request new validation email. Okay, so a new activation email has been sent to the address provided. Okay. So we go into MailHog. We've got our activation email, so we can activate our account. Okay. Let's just click into our database and just refresh. And as you can see, we've got the activation token here and the expiry time, which is going to be 4:05, which is a bit strange, but I think it's an hour behind. Yeah. Yep. So now if I still try to log in as CakePHP1, it's not letting us, and it's just taking us back to the your account is not active, but we now have the email. So let's just click the activate account. Your account is now active, so we're just going to check that in the database, and as you can see, CakePHP1 now has the activation done, so our activation method still works. So if we go back to login and type in CakePHP1 and now log in, you can see he can log in. Go back to our users and we got 3 yeses. Okay. So just to test and just do one more final test, just to make sure that it's not a fluke, that it all worked. We're going to use CakePHP3. Now this is why when you are developing, it's kind of handy just to create a unit test thing here, to check that you are able to get the results you need. And in our case, I'm expecting CakePHP3 to fail. Okay. So 3, if we log in, there we go, your account is not active, and we know he's not active. Okay. And if I click on users, we still need to log in. So I can log in as a user, and I can click on my users index, and you can see that we're there. The redirect worked. Can I edit the other one? No, we're not authorized to perform. And therefore I won't be able to actually delete either. If I click on articles and I try and edit CakePHP1s, because I'm logged in as CakePHP, can we edit? The answer is no. And can I delete? And the answer should also be no. So can I edit my own? Yes, I can. So guys, that is how you use the is active tag to make sure that the user has activated their email account. And this can be used for email verification systems, just to make sure that the email address that somebody has created their account with actually exists and they have access to it. Any questions, please post below. And as always, please can you hit that like button, hit the subscribe and notification bells. And I will see you all again soon in another episode. Thank you all so much for watching.